What are the basic things you need to start ventilation? Which ventilation pattern is best for closures and frontals? Are double knot and double split knot permanent? Which ventilation pattern is best for full lace braided wig? So hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Akare Sibal, and I'm back with another video. So I put up like a question poll telling you guys to ask me any question that has to do with ventilation that you're curious to know, and I got some questions, and this is basically me doing a video answering those questions. How do I feel weird on camera? I don't know. So let's get right into the video. The first question I got here is actually a very interesting question. The girl asked, how do I get clients that pay my worth? So the thing there's a thin line between knowing your worth and overcharging, and a lot of customers do not know that line. They don't know when to draw the line. They just automatically assume that everybody's overcharging them, everybody's trying to scam them and everything. So the thing now is to explain and prove to them why this is your worth and why they're supposed to pay. And these are like ways in which you're supposed to prove your worth to them. And I gave like a list of points. The first point here I gave is be your biggest marketer. See, there's nobody that can market your brand the way you market your brand. Like, there's nobody. There's someone I don't joke with, is like her beauty. Reason being that the way the girl sells herself, like most of her videos, she has over 300,000 subscribers on YouTube, but per video she's posted, she's still marketing her hair brand, selling her makeup brand. Like, she pushes herself very well. You can't come up to me and tell me that you ventilate closures, you make closures. What I'm seeing you wearing a bumpy closure, I'm seeing that your closure is not properly styled, I'm seeing that your closure basically does not look good. It doesn't tell well of you and your brand. If you're trying to push out this brand, you have to be the face of the brand. You have to sell yourself, style your own closures, make your own closures. You can't be wearing bumpy closures and be selling closures and be making closures. Talk to people about your brand, promote your brand, like carry your matter for your head. Literally, that's just this first point. Promote your brand. Next point I'm going to be giving here is do something different that other ventilators are not doing. So initially, when I started ventilating, there were not really much people on the market, so it wasn't hard getting customers. But now, like, literally almost everybody's learning ventilation. Either they're learning from YouTube, they're paying people to learn. Basically, everybody now has an idea of ventilation. So for people to pay you now to ventilate the closures, you have to be doing something different. They're all like 10, 15 people. Before they reach out to you, they have reached out to like 10 people, asking them for their price range, and you're coming up with a more expensive price. So you have to give a reason why your price is expensive. You have to kind of be different. And there's a girl I like very well on Instagram. I just stumbled on her page randomly, AMA Hairs. She's a ventilator too. What I like her is the way her styling is here, the way she branded herself here. Like, even if you reach out to 10 ventilators, once you reach out to her and you see the way she branded herself, even if her prices are more expensive, you'll be willing to pay because of her branding. Like, offer something differently. Other ventilators are just ventilating their closures. You start tinting your lace. Start bleaching your knots. Do something different to make people know that, okay, if I'm charging 5,000 extra from what Mama Basira is charging, you have to give me a reason why I should really pay that 5,000 extra. Say, okay, when you ventilate from me, I'm not going to do and use anyhow lace. I'm going to be using a very strong, durable lace. If possible, you can use HD lace. Tell them that, okay, for you to ventilate from me, I'm going to be tinting your knots. I will be tinting your lace. I'm going to be bleaching your knots, and you can offer free installation if you can. Like, just style your closures, like style it very well. Send people good videos and good pictures. Make reels. Like, the thing is, you have to be different. You have to be able to prove to these social media people that, okay, this is why I'm charging this amount. And honestly, if you're able to prove it to people, then the price really is not an issue. Because I know people here, like, I've actually met people that if you tell them they tell you they don't make it 2x4 closure, and someone tells them 2,000 and someone tells them 8,000 naira, they'll wonder, why is your own 2,000 and why is your own 8,000 naira? The difference is too much it's too far for comfort. So you have to ask questions, and when they see that, okay, this person is actually offering more than what the person of 2,000 naira is offering, they will actually go for the person of 8,000 naira. It just has to do with selling yourself. You see, it boils down to the first point: sell yourself. And that point I put here is take good pictures. This still boils down to selling yourself. Like, social media has become a very powerful tool. You need to do reels, take good pictures, just show the interior of your closure, the exterior, convince people basically why they have to buy your closure. You have to style the closures, like go and watch tutorial videos on how to style hair. And that thing is, don't be desperate. See, there's some kind of clients that, I'm sorry to say, but there are clients that are sent from hell, that they are out to torment you, stress you. See, don't be desperate. Once clients notice that you are desperate, they will actually feel like you do not know your worth. Even if this is the first job you're having in over 1 month, in over 2 months. See, don't act desperate. Once you see they're now giving the energy, see, peace of mind is very important. The last thing basically is improve on your craft. Now, improve on your craft still boils down to doing something different. But I put this point separately because there are a lot of people on the streets of Instagram that are making closures that are not durable. You can see the knots are loose. They are making braided wig. The knot is very bulky. Like, there are people that are doing anyhow things on social media now, all in the name of closure. For you to get people that pay your worth, you have to be able to tell them, oh, for the other people that are telling you this price, maybe they are doing single knotting, maybe they are not doing. But me, I'm going to be double knotting your closures. I'm going to be using double split knots, and you can bleach your knots, you can style your knots. I'm going to do, like, you have to basically push out something different. Tell your clients that, okay, my closures are going to be very durable. You can bleach these closures and they're not going to pull, unlike these other ventilators. And you basically improve on your craft. So if you, in case you make closure for someone the first time, they are going to have the mind to come back again to say, okay, oh, you did the first closure for me, I really liked it, and make the second closure for me. See, the power of returning customers, you can't overemphasize it, because returning customers are mostly the people that actually sing your business aloud more than you do, and they're actually going to bring more customers. So another question I got here is, which ventilation pattern is best for full lace braided wig? So the thing with braided wigs are, like, attachment as a whole, they can't really withstand bleach like that. Do you understand? Attachment is like pure synthetic, so they can't really withstand bleaching like that. So people don't bleach knots of attachments. Like braided wigs, once you ventilate it like that, people just braid it like that. They don't bleach the knots of it. Why am I saying all this now? Most people, because they know that, okay, attachments, you're not really using heat on the knots, you're not really bleaching the knots, they just opt for single knotting. Because they just opt for single knotting. Because the reason why, if you watch that my initial video, I feel like I'll link it here, but if you watch that initial video, the reason why I told you that you should not be using single knotting is because single knotting cannot be bleached, single knotting cannot withstand heat. And attachments, braided wig, they do not need to use heat on it. Like, you know, braided wig, once they full lace braided wig, once they ventilate it, they will just braid on it, and that's pretty much it. They don't need to be styling it with heat that will be touching the knots and stuff. So it doesn't need to, it's not going to be pulling out for any reason. So most people that do full lace braided wigs, they opt for single knots, because the thing with braided wig is that once the knot is bulky, it's going to be very noticeable. I feel like I'll find pictures of knots that are bulky in braided wig and insert it for you to see, because once the knots are very bulky in braided wig, it's going to be very noticeable. So most people opt for single knotting. I feel like if you're doing braided wig, you can opt for single knotting, or you can go for double knotting. But the single knotting, you have to tighten it very well. And if you're doing double knotting, you have to make sure that the knots are very, very small. If you know your double knotting is still very big, then just go for single knotting generally. I don't know about split knotting and double split knotting, because I don't do braided wigs. I haven't done any before, so I do not know. But from what I know, most people do braided wigs, they go for single knot. And moreover, full lace braided wig no be here. That is like literally ventilating a full-blown wig of ventilation. A full-blown lace of ventilation. So if you want to do double knots, when do you want to finish? See, I feel like for most time, people that do single lace wigs, they just go for single knots. So that's why. Another question someone asked here is, which ventilation pattern is best for closures and frontals? I feel like the person that asked this question hasn't really watched my previous videos, because this question is actually a very vague question. There are different types of closures, there are different types of frontal. Okay, there are not different types of frontal, but there are different types of closures. What particular type of closure are you talking about? This single part closure, this free part closure. Free part means there's no parting, you're just ventilating everything to the back. In free part closure, there's not really a given pattern. Free part, you're just doing disorganized. You're just putting putting the hair anywhere, everything to the back. I feel like I'll look for like a clip of a I don't know if I have a picture of a free part frontal, but free part closure. But if I draw, I'll insert it there. But free part basically is everything to the back. So what particular type of closure are you talking about? For normal 2x4, 2x6, 4x4, just basically normal closures. For the pattern, most people do one line space diagonal. For the base, they will do normal diagonal and straight line pattern. Then for the body, they will just do one line spacing. They do on one line. They are still doing diagonal pattern for one line spacing. I feel like this thing, I don't really know how to explain it with mouth, but I will link that video there. Yeah, go and watch the video. If you watch the video, you understand. But what particular type of closure are you talking about? What particular type of frontal are you talking about? Frontal, they have over like, I think 3 or 4 different patterns they use for frontal ventilation. The pattern you're using here for the ear of the frontal, it's not the same pattern you're using for the front of the frontal. It's not the same pattern you're using for the body of the frontal. So What part are you talking about? For this whole frontal ventilation, I've not done a video on that, but I hope to do a video on that very soon. Another question I got here is, are double knot and double split knot permanent? There's no permanent knot though. You don't even want the knot to be permanent. say your knot not be permanent in Jesus. There's no permanent knot though, because if you're okay, let's say I'm doing a 5x5 closure now. After doing a 5x5 closure, if they give it to a frontal stylist to install the frontal, the person may feel like the front is too dense, it's too full, and they want to block it, which is very, very fine. So if your knot is permanent, which there's no such thing as a permanent knot, but if your knot is permanent, how are they going to block it? Blocking is basically removing the knot from the root, just so the thing can be a little bit scanty, just so it can imitate the hairline, because when ventilating, we usually do the hairline a little bit full, because we don't know how scanty or how full your hairline is. Do you understand? No knot is permanent. Double split knots and double knots, they are just stronger knots than single knots and split knot and normal split knots. Do you understand? But they are not permanent. They are just harder to pull off, but does not make them permanent. They can still be pulled off if once you use tweezer, pull it off, it's out. All knots are like that. So there's no such thing as a permanent knot. Another question I got here was like beginner friendly. What are the things you need to start ventilation? What are the basic things you need to start ventilation? As beginner things you need to start ventilation. I feel like the first and the most important thing here has to be the pin. I've seen people use crochet pin for ventilation. I haven't tried it before. I don't know how it works, but I've seen people use crochet pin. Crochet pin is like on the cheaper side, because normal ventilation pin, the one that I use is like a 4,000, a 4,500 each, and that's quite expensive. So I've seen people use crochet pin for ventilation. I don't know how that works. I've also seen people use a local pin. One local pin that is wooden, like has a pin at the end. I tried buying the pin to use the pin, because the pin is on the cheaper side, it's 900. I tried buying it, but then it didn't work for me. Maybe it didn't just work for me. Maybe I bought the wrong one, because the pin at the end did not have a latch, and the pin is not detachable, so you can't change the pin. So that didn't work for me. That's point of my whole ramble. God, I keep going off point. Point of my whole ramble is the first thing you need is your pin. So either you're using your crochet pin if you know how to use crochet pin, or the local pin if you know how to use the local pin. But the one that works for me is this normal detachable brass ventilating pin. So the first thing you need is your pin. The second thing you need is your surface. I've seen people that don't use canvas head. Like me, why I use this canvas head, that normal canvas head. I will start the picture there, but I've seen people that don't use canvas head. They use normal mannequin head, or just basically look for a pierceable surface that works for you. This thing head, block head, is on the high side. It goes for 8,000 naira, 9,000 naira, some places 10,000 naira. So that's on the high side. So for a cheap beginner friendly kit, you can go for the cheaper mannequin head. That one goes for I think about 3,000 naira or so. Or you can go for, just look for a surface basically that you can pin your net to and it works. The third thing you need is your net. I usually buy my net in yards because it's cheaper. I want to go and bring the net I usually buy. This is the net I usually buy. You've seen that I've cut a lot out of the net, but basically this was like I think quarter yard, and this quarter yard went for I think 1,900 or 2,000 naira, or just within that rate, 2,000 or maybe if possible 2,500. I'm not really sure at this point. It has been a while I bought the net, but are you seeing how big it is? And mind you, I've used a lot from the net, so this can make over I think like 15 closures. 15 2x4 closures, 15 small size closures. Do you understand? So it's cheaper, unlike buying the pre-cut net. The pre-cut net goes for 500 naira for the small one. Some people say as much as 600 naira, but if you know how to cut this, if you want a tutorial on how to cut it into the different sizes of closures that you want, just drop a comment down in the comment section and I'll do a tutorial on that. Basically, this is what I buy, and this you can buy, they sell it in yards. This is quarter yard and it went for I think about 2,000 naira. So you need your blockhead, you need your pin, you need your net. The net is very important because without the net you cannot do. Then you need your hair. The hair, you can start with attachments. Just buy attachments so you can learn, practice with attachments. So you not just buy human hair and then you end up wasting the hair. So hair is compulsory. Then what like you need a cradle. Cradle is the surface. I don't have a cradle here, but cradle is like that wooden structure. I think I showed you guys cradle before, but cradle is like that wooden structure that you put your blockhead on, just so you will not be tilting and giving yourself back pain. But personally, for me, I can work without cradle. I work comfortable without cradle. What I just do is I find a surface. Like if I'm ventilating, my bed is usually to the wall, so I just put a pillow on the distance on the wall and put my back there. So my back is already secured. I'm not going to get any back pain. Then I'm taking my two legs up, like I'm taking my leg up. The reason why I'm taking my leg up is just so I can put the blockhead on my leg. Do you understand? That is just like a comfortable position that I figured it works for me. It's either that or I use table and I basically just use for a position that works for you if you don't have the cradle. But the cradle is actually on the cheap side. The cradle, when I bought it, was like 2,000 naira, and you can give it to a carpenter to make for you. They don't need to make all the foreign wood and stuff. You can use local wood and make cradle. Cradle is not expensive like that. But if also you want to use cradle better for your life, then you need the small things of chalk. People used to use that marker. There's one marker they used to use, but that marker is expensive. That marker is like 2,000 naira, never. So I used to use chalk. Then you need office pin. Those small pin, a pack of the pin is 100 naira, be 150. That's the pin I usually use to pin around the clothes. So you need that. Then you need masking tape or any other tape. That masking tape usually is to make the holes more visible to you. Are you seeing that these holes are not visible at all? Once you put masking tape on that, it makes it a little bit more visible to you, just so you will not strain your eyes. Then you need good lighting. And personally, I've trained my eyes to not really use good lighting to ventilate. I know that because you're not going to always have good lighting. That's the gospel truth. How many times you want to transport your light? You're not always going to have good lighting. So you need to train your eyes to not be able to use good lighting and to use good lighting when good lighting is there. So that's just the thing about ventilation. I don't know if there's any other question. I'm coming. Let me check if there's any other question. So I checked and I actually saw more videos. This person asked how to cut a frontal, how to cut a closure, how to close a closure, how to cut a frontal. Those ones, I have to do follow-up videos to answer those questions, but I have that on my list of videos now, so thanks for asking those questions. Another question that requires talking is, she asked, frontal ventilation, is it one hole to leave one hole, one hole to leave one hole, or one line to leave one line, one line to leave one line? See, I want to put this out there. There's really no wrong or correct. Okay, there are wrong ways to ventilate, sorry, let me address that, but there's really no one correct way to ventilate. There are different methods that different people adopt when ventilating. Initially, when I started learning this whole ventilation thing, I was thinking that the method I know was the only method you can use to ventilate. But when I started posting these videos and I watched other people's videos, I actually realized that there are multiple ways you can ventilate. It's just the pattern that works for you. It's just the pattern that works for you. As long as you're achieving a flat, durable, and good-looking closure, then whatever pattern works for you. Now my pattern that I'm doing diagonal, some people are doing straight line pattern and it works for them. Point of this, my whole ramble is, when I learned frontal, what I learned was one line spacing on both sides for there are different patterns to use for different sides of frontal. What you're using for the pattern you're using in front, not the pattern you're using at the side, it's not the pattern you're using at the back. Do you understand? But for what you're talking about, maybe for the body of the closure, what I know is one line, leave one line, one line, leave one line. But after watching people's videos, I found out that some people are doing one hole, leave one hole, one hole, leave one hole, then one line. When I leave one line, continue one hole, leave one hole. It just depends on basically what works for you. But my pattern is different from other people's patterns. So I will try to definitely do a video on how to do a frontal, so you will know my pattern and what works. So thanks a lot for watching this video. I do hope you enjoyed this video. Please do give this video a massive thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next video.